Full body burial at sea. Is it legal? This YouTube video is for educational purposes in walking you through the entire process of my mom's full body burial at sea after she died in December 2022. When my mom was sick in 2022, she had done the research of what she wanted after she died. And my mom has been in Florida for the last 38 years and has lived in Fort Lauderdale area and also has worked on yachts for many of those years. She had done her research of exactly what she wanted after she died, and that was a full body burial at sea. I was very happy that we were able to fulfill those wishes for her. So she had found online Catch My Drift, which is the boat that took her out to have the full body burial at sea. So yes, a full body burial at sea is legal. You definitely have to follow EPA guidelines, and each state is different. Full body burials at sea have been happening for decades. And in the world, full body burials at sea have been happening for thousands of years. In her full body burial at sea, she also had specific things that she wanted. She wanted to make sure her full body burial at sea was fun and a celebration of life. My mom was an eccentric person, and she wanted this to be fulfilled for her and her personality, for a memory of a lifetime. She dressed up for every Halloween, as Halloween was her favorite holiday. My mom was a lot of fun and had a lot of parties and loved to dance. It was very unique, and she really wanted to have something different, unique, that also followed her personality. So she was a mermaid inside of her coffin at her burial at sea, and we were all her mermaid squad. She wanted to make sure that it was a fun celebration and that all of us shared stories and memories and laughed. And if you watch till the end, you're gonna see a little bit about who my mom was and also the entire process of the burial at sea. When I first posted on Mother's Day, the first Mother's Day without my mom, and I had posted a short reel on Instagram about how much I missed my mom and a little short clip of my mom's burial at sea. And just in memory of my mom, I didn't realize that I would get close to 14 million views when I posted that. And so many people asked, is it legal? You know, you're polluting the waters. You know, so many questions arise during that process. And I had no idea that there was so much interest, nor did I have any idea that almost 14 million people would watch, and many of those people comment on that reel on Instagram. So, and that's under Kristin Stampini. So I decided to make this longer form video for all of you on YouTube explaining the process of my mom's burial at sea, the guidelines, the laws, exactly what happened, you know, who my mom was, so you can have a little bit more understanding of what the burial at sea process is. So yes, it is legal. You must follow EPA guidelines. There were a couple of boats in the Fort Lauderdale area. The one we picked was Catch My Drift, right off of Solace. And they perform burials at sea about every other month. And I believe you can pick any boat, but you have to follow the guidelines, the EPA guidelines. So we picked one that had already done it, knows it, and that the coffin could fit and be set into the water or pushed into the water at the end of the boat. So, and not tried to be lifted out of the boat. You have to go at least 3 nautical miles from shore, and the coffin has to be at least 600 feet deep. It also has to be certified, it has to be tracked of where you dropped it, and you have to file it with the state as well. That's who we picked, was Catch My Drift, right off of Solace in Fort Lauderdale, to perform the burial at sea. Because they had done them, they had already known, they knew how to file with the state, they knew the EPA guidelines that we needed to follow, and so that's why we chose Catch My Drift boat. Just the boat portion of the burial at sea, I believe, was around $3,700. They have a couple of funeral homes that they recommend and that they work with. I believe that you can pick any funeral home as long as they know the EPA guidelines and they follow them. This Catch My Drift only works with 2 funeral homes, and the one we worked with was out of Royal Palm Beach. I believe it was called Palm Beach Funeral Home, and they also perform several burials at sea, so they knew the EPA guidelines, and we were comfortable working with somebody that knew the EPA guidelines. So 2 state representatives have to be on the boat during the performance. Coffin actually has to be drilled. So there has to be, I believe it's around 20 holes in the coffin and 300 feet of rock at the feet of the coffin. And you'll see a video that a guest actually took of my mom going into the water, and it sinks. As soon as it goes into the water, you can see the coffin actually going down, straight down. And the reason for that is that's one of the guidelines, that it has to go straight down quickly. Also, it has 6 wraps around the coffin. All the materials have to be biodegradable. That's one of the guidelines. So people ask, is it going to wash up to shore? Nope, it's not going to wash up to shore because it sinks quickly. It has to be at least 600 feet deep and at least 3 nautical miles from shore is where the coffin can be dropped into the sea. All of that has to be recorded and it has to be sent to the state so everybody knows. A lot of other people were like, oh, are divers or swimmers going to run into the coffin? And no, I believe that divers go about 150, maybe 200 feet down. So nobody's ever going to run into the coffin. Sharks can't get into the coffin, small fish can't. The cost of the funeral home was about $6,800. The body is not embalmed. That's the basic cost. Then you can have on the boat, which when you watch the video you can see, or pictures actually, we did have continental breakfast, we sang. She did not want people crying and things like that. So yes, did we grieve? Of course we grieved. Before and after the funeral, and I'm still grieving now many months later. But during her funeral, what she wished for is to have the full body burial at sea and a celebration of life. She wanted to make sure everybody was having fun, laughing, sharing stories, and so that's exactly what we did. My mom's favorite holiday was Halloween. She got married on Halloween, she dressed up every Halloween. She had us as a family dressing up. Even a year ago, as a family, we were all dressed up at Christmas time. And that was my mom's personality. And throughout this video, you'll be able to see it. So all we did is fulfill her last wishes legally, and that was burial at sea. And I decided to create this video because there were so many questions on, is it legal? How is it performed? What's the process? What's the cost? Why were you laughing in the video? We were having a celebration of life. My mom wanted to be a mermaid inside of the coffin, and we were all her mermaid squad, and we were singing and sharing stories. So I hope you enjoyed the video. We used Catch My Drift in Fort Lauderdale, right off of Solace. It took about 3 hours to perform the burial at sea, to go out into the ocean. We had a continental breakfast because it's done in the morning. After the boat, we went to Fort Lauderdale Yacht Club and actually had a full celebration of life there as well. No, it's not cheap. Is it something that I would do? I don't think so. Hopefully you can see everything through this video and it answered your questions of how it's performed. This video is for educational purposes because of everybody that was really interested in the process, the cost of a burial at sea. Is it legal? So hopefully this video was able to give you more information and details on the full body burial at life of my mom, who was a very loving, wonderful person, but also very unique and eccentric. And we were able to fulfill her last wishes of exactly how she wanted to go after she died. Hope you enjoyed this educational video and a little bit about my mom. Bye.
Under the sea, in octopus's garden with you. In octopus's garden with you. In octopus's garden with you.
Ready? Bye, Nancy. Okay.
Bye, Mom.
Bye, Mom. Love you.
Beautiful. Say hi to the octopi.